Angels of Death is a show that uses a storytelling technique that I have some major issues with. It's called the mystery box. The mystery box is a term made famous by American film director J.J. Abrams, who is known primarily for directing the pilot of Lost, the Star Trek remake films, and Star Wars The Force Awakens. The idea of the mystery box is that, as a storyteller, you should set up mystery and intrigue in order to carry your viewer throughout the story. Now, at a base level, every story ever told does this to some extent. You can't just have a story where everything is spelled out immediately, and you have to have something to drive the narrative throughout. Though what makes a story compelling to me isn't so much the mystery that it presents, but the characters within that mystery, and their personalities and relationships toward each other. And that's the area where Angels of Death falls flat. It relies too heavily on the mystery it sets up, while not giving much personality or charm to its characters. Angels of Death is about a girl named Rachel, who wakes up in a mysterious hospital building. She quickly discovers a cryptic message written on the wall that we aren't given much context or meaning to. She then finds an elevator shaft that opens up, and is brought down to a lower level floor that has dead animals and blood on the floor. Turns out there's a psycho killer down there who is now attempting to murder her with a scythe. She manages to run and escape from him and finds another elevator that takes her up a floor where she finds a man in a lab coat who says he's her doctor. As we soon find out, this man is clearly just insane and is trying to rip her eyes out of her skull. While doing this, he gets killed by the scythe-wielding man on the previous floor, but not before revealing the important information that Rachel's parents are dead. After finding this out, Rachel becomes very stoic and lifeless. She has a very calm, almost strange demeanor, and she actually asks the scythe-wielding man, who we find out is named Zach, to kill her. Zach initially refuses her request because she's showing no emotion, and it's not fun for him to kill victims who don't show emotion, though he eventually agrees to do it, but only if she helps him get out of this mysterious building. This relationship that forms between Zach and Rachel feels very forced and awkward throughout the show. I never fully buy into these characters because their personalities aren't well developed or interesting enough, and the formation of their relationship feels very weird and unbelievable. The problem is, it just feels like these characters do an immediate 180 on their personalities for the sake of having this strange duo throughout the plot. After this duo is formed and the plot gets moving, nearly all the events in the story happen to keep you guessing why these characters are in the situation that they're in. The show keeps setting up these mystery boxes to tell its story, but the problem is that the characters and the situations they're in aren't interesting enough in the first place. And this is the crucial element that mystery box storytelling gets wrong. It doesn't get the viewer invested in the characters first. Posing questions and layering on mystery to a character doesn't make me care about that character, but if the character is well developed and interesting, and I just enjoy seeing that character throughout the story, then adding the mystery elements later will hook me in and make me care about that character even more. But during the events of the show, I don't get much out of these two characters. Again, Rachel is stoic and bland, and Zach is pretty one note, though they do get some character development as the story continues. For example, Zach's backstory gets revealed to show why he ended up the way he was. Overall though, these two just don't hook me. Now, on the flip side, let's, for the sake of example, look at a show that hooks the viewer with its characters first and foremost. Let's look at Samurai Champloo. Samurai Champloo's entire premise is that one of the main characters, named Fu, is on a journey to find the samurai who smells of sunflowers. That's the initial narrative thrust that gets our three main characters to go on their journey. But what makes the entire journey compelling is the fact that it's focused on the characters themselves, and watching them interact with each other and become more developed is the entertaining part of the show. The characters are so fascinating that I don't even care about the samurai who smells of sunflowers, and that narrative element sort of fades into the background. I care about the moment-to-moment interaction that occurs in the plot. The story isn't about the destination, but it's about the journey. And that journey makes the destination more compelling when the story eventually gets to that destination. The story makes you care about the characters going on the journey rather than the end goal itself. And I think that's what good storytelling should do. I think character interaction throughout a story is one of the most important aspects of the story. And it's something I don't think Angels of Death does very well. That's my main issue with the show. That's all for this video. If you liked it, why not consider leaving a like and subscribing if you want more content? And check out my channel for more videos in the future. I'll see you in the next one.